I don't know what it looks like, what it feels like, what it is, what I know. When I get there, when I find it, it's for me. I don't know what it looks like.
Welcome to Black Girl Magic Stories Presents U.S. Women Pioneers, where we celebrate the remarkable women who have paved the way for future generations while making a unique mark in time. We celebrate the incredible women who have exemplified perseverance and leadership by pushing boundaries and breaking barriers. We honor the amazing Black women who see no bogs. This Women's History Month and every day, we give reverence to the phenomenal Black women who continue to surmount hurdles many call impossible. We love you, Black women. You are crushing it. Our first pioneer on today's list is our forever First Lady, Michelle Obama, a renowned lawyer, writer, and public speaker who served as the 44th First Lady of the United States. Mrs. Obama was born in Chicago, Illinois, and graduated from Princeton University and Harvard Law School. During her time at the White House, she focused on issues such as poverty awareness, education, healthcare reform, and support for military families. Mrs. Obama has been an advocate for gender equality and healthy living. She launched the Let's Move campaign to combat childhood obesity and worked with the U.S. Department of Education to promote access to higher education. In 2018, she released her memoir, Becoming, which made history as an instant bestseller. In 2020, Mrs. Obama founded the nonpartisan organization When We All Vote to increase voter registration and participation in elections. She continues to be a powerful voice for social justice and progress around the world. Her inspiring story serves as a reminder that anything is possible when we work together towards a common goal.
Our next pioneer is Dr. Macy Jameson, an American engineer, physician, and former NASA astronaut. She became the first African-American woman to travel in space when she went into orbit aboard the Space Shuttle Endeavour in 1992. Dr. Jameson has also worked as a Peace Corps medical officer and founded a technology company. She has also held professorships at Cornell University and Dartmouth College, where she taught courses focused on the environment. Dr. Jameson has received numerous awards for her work, including the 1993 Kilby Science Award. She was inducted into the International Space Hall of Fame in 2004 and the 2017 Buzz Aldrin Space Pioneer Award. She is an advocate for science education and has been inducted into the National Women's Hall of Fame. Dr. Jameson continues to inspire generations of scientists and engineers with her pioneering spirit.
Josephine Baker was a trailblazing entertainer and civil rights activist. Born in St. Louis, Missouri in 1906, she rose to fame as a dancer and singer in the 1920s, becoming the first African-American woman to star in a major motion picture. She also performed for the French Resistance during World War II, for which she was given 2 awards by the French government. In her later years, Ms. Baker became an outspoken advocate for civil rights, speaking alongside Dr. Martin Luther King at the March on Washington in 1963. Josephine Baker is remembered as a pioneering figure who helped shape our world for the better through her commitment to social justice.
Diahann Carroll was a trailblazer in the entertainment industry. She was the first African-American woman to star in her own television series, Julia, and the first African-American to win a Tony Award for Best Actress in a Musical. Her film credits include Hurry Sundown, The Split, and Claudine. In addition to her acting career, she was a successful singer who released several albums throughout her lifetime. She was inducted into the Television Academy Hall of Fame in 2011 and received the Hollywood Legacy Award in 2016. Diahann Carroll's legacy continues to inspire generations of entertainers.
The next pioneer is an iconic figure in the entertainment industry. Oprah Winfrey has achieved massive success as a talk show host, actress, producer, business mogul, and philanthropist. The Oprah Winfrey Show ran for 25 seasons and is the highest rated program of its kind in American history. Ms. Winfrey has won numerous awards for her work, including over 10 Emmys, many NAACP Image Awards, and 2 Golden Globes, just to name a few. In addition to her television career, Ms. Winfrey has also been involved in film production. She produced the Academy Award-winning movie Selma and co-starred in The Color Purple, for which she received an Oscar nomination. Ms. Winfrey is also a very successful businesswoman. She established Harpo Productions and the Oprah Winfrey Network. She is also the founder of O Magazine and Oprah's Book Club.
Our next trailblazer is the co-founder of BET. Sheila C. Johnson co-founded Black Entertainment Television in 1979 and is the first African-American woman billionaire. She has since gone on to become an accomplished entrepreneur, philanthropist, and advocate for women's rights. In addition to her success in business, Ms. Johnson has been recognized for her work in the arts. Most notably, she was appointed to the President's Committee on the Arts and Humanities by former President Obama. Ms. Johnson is also a passionate advocate for education reform and has served as a board member of numerous organizations, including VH1 Save the Music Foundation, Americans for the Arts, and the Curry School of Education Foundation at the University of Virginia. Her commitment to giving back has earned her numerous awards, including the Lincoln Medal from the Ford's Theater Society in 2018 and the Order of Lincoln Award from the Lincoln Academy of Illinois in 2019.
Aretha Franklin was an iconic singer, songwriter, and civil rights activist. She began her career as a gospel singer in Detroit, Michigan, and went on to become one of the most influential figures in music history. Her powerful voice earned her a title of the Queen of Soul, and she won 18 Grammy Awards throughout her career. Ms. Franklin's songs were often politically charged and addressed issues such as racism, sexism, and poverty. She also performed at many civil rights events, including Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s funeral in 1968. Aretha Franklin will forever be remembered for her incredible talent and unwavering commitment to social justice.
Our next pioneer is known as the Queen of the Beehive. Beyonce Knowles Carter is an iconic singer, songwriter, and actress who has achieved immense success in her career. She's won 32 Grammy Awards, making her the most Grammy-awarded artist of all time. Her music has topped the charts around the world, and she has sold over 100 million records as a solo artist. Beyonce is also an acclaimed actress, having starred in films such as Dreamgirls and The Lion King. She is a philanthropist and advocates for social justice, using her platform to speak on issues such as police brutality and gender equality. Beyonce's influence extends far beyond music and entertainment. She's a powerful voice for change and progress.
Our final pioneer, whose work will guide our discussion today, is Billie Holiday, who was born with the name Eleanor Fagan in 1915. Miss Holiday was an American jazz and blues singer with a career spanning nearly 30 years. She is renowned for her vocal delivery and improvisational skills, which made her one of the most influential jazz singers of all time. Holiday's signature songs include God Bless the Child, Strange Fruit, and Don't Explain. Her vocal style, characterized by her deep, expressive contralto voice, was strongly influenced by jazz instrumentalists. She also wrote several songs throughout her career. Holiday has posthumously won 4 Best Historical Album Grammy Awards and was inducted into the National Women's Hall of Fame in 2011. She is widely considered to be one of the greatest jazz singers of all time. First, snaps to all my amazing ladies for their amazing accomplishments, artistry, and innovations. Cam and Alex, how are we creators?
I think as Black women, we are the blueprint of all things, especially in this country, from our bodies to our skin, to our hair. I think we lay the foundation for the beauty industry, for when it comes to the ideal, just overall image and essence of what a woman is. I think Black women are the blueprint, and we are that foundation of that.
I believe that we are the from scratch bunch, right? I think that Black women can take nothing and make it something. And because of that ability, just from that intrinsic ability to be able to do that from our history, we are creators in everything we do, everything we say, everything we touch is something new.
That's good. I think about just being a woman and bringing forth life. We create in that way, but then also, as you all said, I remember someone said something to the effect of, it's ghetto until it's in Vogue magazine. And there are so many things that come out of our ingenuity, that come out of fashion that we made in our rooms, that we made with our friends, that we start wearing. And we got made fun of for it at school, but then the right person gets a hold of it, and all of a sudden it's high fashion. Our bamboo earrings, the big booty, all of it.
Yes.
There are so many things that just stem out of who we are naturally that ends up becoming the forefront of a movement. And I think that's amazing, but also give us our credit.
Yeah, okay.
With that in mind, how are you creators? Are there any creative pursuits in your lives?
I think for me, I think about the legacy that I'm trying to create. breaking generational curses, going to college, choosing to work in a realm where I am directly serving people that look like me, people who have had shared experiences as me. And my goal and my mission in life is to make sure that when I do get to the point of motherhood, that I'm leaving something on, that they're carrying on what I've started, and it's continuing on for generations to come. So I think it's starting with me, but I'd also have to give credit to my mother and those that have come before me. So it's a continuation on.
That's so true. And you know what? I don't think I've ever really considered myself a creator per se. But we're building, we're constantly piling on and extending and passing the baton. But I will say that personally, and I have to give myself more credit for it, I think as a nurse and working in the healthcare space, I pride myself on creating a safe space. And if nothing else, I can do that, right?
Absolutely, that's good. I would say personally, I call myself a lazy creative. I'm a writer, I write poetry, I enjoy fashion, styling individuals, so I create in that way, but I love both of those examples of creating paths and creating safe spaces. That's amazing. And I would say to that, can we create without exploitation in our capitalist society?
Oh Lord, that's layered. Can we create in a capitalist society without exploitation? Ideally, yes, but you're always going to have competing demands. You're always going to have things that pull at you in certain ways, and the higher up you go in corporate, or like for you as a creative, and as you make things, like case in point, let's say you took your artistry, to another level, and someone wanted to purchase it. Will you be ready to change the integrity of how it started? We all get to that point, no matter what we create, whether it's products, care products, whether it's art. I think we do get to a point where we have to ask ourselves, is this what I started out trying to do? And so exploitation is always looming. It's whether we're going to give into it or not.
That's good stuff.
I love that you said, can we? Because we can, and it's a matter of should we, right? I think the beauty of Black women is that we are going to make a way in spite of, despite the politics, despite the naysayers, despite the boys club and social media and society. I know as Black women, we don't have the option, right? We don't have a choice. We don't have the luxury as some of our other counterparts. So I definitely think as Black women, and I think that's kind of the magic of us, is that we have the ability to make a way out of no way. Take whatever it is that we've been given, what's ever been put on our plate, and just doing the best that we can. And we've seen that historically in our time, when we think about slavery, when we think about, when the men had to leave and the women were left to care for the children and care for the home. We've continued on. They've thrown numerous things at us, and sadly, you would think at this point in time in history where we are in society that wouldn't be an issue. But I think about, I don't know if you ever heard the saying, but as Black women, we have to be twice as educated. We have to be twice as good. And it's exhausting, but we don't have the luxury and the privilege to sit down and wallow in it and think about it. So can we? Yes, and we do, to answer your question.
Yes. Yeah, I would agree with both of you all. I think we absolutely can create art without it becoming exploitative. I think that it has to do with keeping your original intention in mind, as you said, but also not being afraid to make waves and to break away from what we've been told we have to do with our art. And so creating our own pathways, and in that degree, it's always going to be more difficult, but when have we not taken the more difficult road? And so I absolutely think that we can. It just has to do with who we have in our corner and who we get to back us up. And I think that those are the things that can keep your art pure of intention and continuing to benefit whoever it's meant to benefit, as opposed to it becoming something to gain money and not edify in the way that art does. So I think that's good. Let's see, how can we combat these systems of exploitation?
I know, right?
Well, I don't necessarily know that we have the right formula for it, but I think as time has progressed, I think that, you know, Black women, we are starting to be more vocal, right? We are banding together. Social media is powerful, right? We are putting the lenses on our stories. You know, we are advocating with one another, and I think there's a real power in sisterhood, lifting up another Black woman, supporting her small business or her art. We have more power in numbers than we realize when we're operating siloed. I just think just banding together is always my approach, and supporting and also checking in on one another. How are you doing, but how are you really doing? And taking the time, how can I help you? How can I be assistance of you in this realm or that realm?
And it's funny you say that because Alex and I work together. And so she's saying it, but she actually does it in real time, like does it day to day. And the strength in numbers piece is so important and so magical because I think that systems, if they can devour if they separate people, right? And so that's kind of like the nature of the beast and literally the food chain. How a lion gets their prey, they separate and then they swarm. And so you make such a good point because if in every other aspect of nature it works that we stay in numbers, why don't we do it as humans? And so I love the Lion King and all that stuff, child. I was just thinking about it. The circle of life, right? The circle. But that's my movie. But no, you're so right. And I think that also calling it out. I think that people will have this unspoken conversation where they're like, I just saw that happen. But we have to do better about calling it how we see it. Like the Metro says, see it, say it. We need to incorporate that. Like, girl, are you okay? Like, no, you're not okay. Let's figure this out. Instead of being like, oh, I saw that happened. We have to hold each other accountable to stick together and to band together. So I love that you said that because I feel like we do that every day together.
Yeah. And I think just to also just go back to what you said earlier, creating that safe space, I think as a culture, we are definitely what happens in my house or behind closed doors is to stay there. And I think it's had a negative impact on us. But definitely, like you said, if you see something, say something. And truly checking in and just like, I know what you said, but I'm here if you need something. I'm here if you need it. Let me offer you this assistance and let me create that safe environment for you to come to me should something be going on.
Both of those were so good, and I want to touch to the things that both of you said because I think that they're really important and we should stay there for a little bit. I think that sometimes we feel like we have to play the game, and so, you know, capitalism is America, and we were taught from a very young age, like, this is good, like, everyone has a chance to, like, make it to the top, and we know that that's not necessarily true, and especially now, the gap that's growing between the lower class and the upper class is widening, and the middle class is disappearing, but that's not what we're talking about. But there does have to be, I think, a return to community, and that is so important, relying on one another and sticking to our word and allowing for there to be something other than just a monetary exchange. What happened to bartering? Like, what happened to, I see your dream and I want to come and stand beside you instead of every man for himself? And so I think this desire for complete autonomy, which is a very American thing, like, but we're not originally American. Like, we came from communities where we relied on one another. And I think that if we return to that, we can kind of combat this, things being so exploitative. I think that we can combat that by actually looking at our neighbors and considering them to be like a part of my family and saying, how can we do this together instead of I'm gonna get to the top by myself.
I love that you said that because as you were saying that, I'm very visual, so I was thinking like the crab in a bucket.
Yes.
Right? It's like, oh, I'm gonna get there, but then I'm gonna fall because I pulled you down too. Like, that's just not effective for anyone. And you made a really good point about the part in capitalism where people, I know, you know, people have to make money. That's a thing. Like, you got a mortgage, you got bills. It's real. Grown lady bills, okay? So that's a thing. But I think we've been so far removed from things that just feel good for the soul. That's the thing. And you said communities, getting back to communities. And I think the older we get and the more we evolve individually and collectively, it's always that returning back and that unlearning. So even though we're like moving away from, we're still yearning to get back to that original space. So I thought that was amazing you said that community. Why? Everybody wants to be an individual and, oh, I'm me, but we're really so much alike.
Yeah.
We're so much alike.
It's also offering a seat at the table.
Ooh, girl.
Right?
Yeah.
Also, shout out to Solange. But it's offering a seat at the table, and I think it is an American cultured thing where there can only be one at the top. And I think specifically in the realm of Black women, there are very few of us at those top positions, right? You know, when I look at an organization, I look to see who looks like me. And not only who looks like me, but what position do you play? Where are you? Fortunately for us, we are in an environment where our CEO is a Black woman, you know? So for me, that was a key point in deciding to be there so that I can have conversations with Kim, you know what I mean? I have something to look forward to. And I think also in the realm of doing things that are good for you, I think about the soft girl life is what they call it.
Yes, I want that.
Soft girl season. We don't have to, as Black women, carry it all on our shoulders. Yeah. It's okay to take time for yourself. Yes. It's okay to do things for pleasure. It is okay to just sit back, kick your feet up, and just relax.
That's true, and we're not lazy for that. I think we have that unspoken guilt, especially as a mom and wife. I'm like, well, what did I do for the people? Like, and I'm looking at my to-do list and my productivity by the things I checked off, and that it shouldn't be.
I completely agree. So at the end of each episode, we always want to know, what is your Black Girl Magic story for 2023? Is it self-care, loving more, creating, innovating? What does that look like for you?
I think permission. Wow. I actually started therapy last year, and when I first started, she said, like, what is your goal? And I said, I want to give myself permission to feel all of the things. I think a lot of times as Black women, it's be strong, keep your emotions together, keep them in check, but it was eating away at me. So I'm trying to be kinder to myself, and I'm having internal conversations and saying, you know something, it's okay to be upset. It's okay to feel this way, and you don't have to explain or justify why you think or feel or said whatever it was that you did. So that's my mantra for the year.
You know what? I never realized, like, our mantras are kind of similar, but for different reasons. So yours is be kinder to yourself. Mine is to love myself, because obviously in the nursing space, it's so easy for your efficacy to go outside of you. I'm good at doing this for this person. And sometimes you get roped into, I'm only as good as what I can do for someone. And so for me, similarly, I'm like, well, what did you do for you? And that's okay. And then also my self-talk. Like self-care, yeah, that's the whole thing. But I gotta start at the root and at the foundation, self-talk. Because I'm everybody's cheerleader, and I'm like, you go, you look great. And then if you could hear the stuff I said to myself, if anyone outside of me said it to me, I'd want to fight.
Exactly.
So I'm like, don't talk to yourself like this, girl. So that's my thing. And she holds me accountable to that too. She's like, Cam, stop. And I'm like, you're right, get it together. So like that goes back to the having that accountability partner and having that person and having people in spaces like this and platforms like this so people could say, oh my God, you know what, that's me too. Or maybe I didn't think about that. And that's why therapy is so important too, because it's like that metacognition outside of you, because we're so busy doing the things. You need that one off to say, what did you say? Don't say that, let's do this. We need it.
Well, I hate to echo you all, but mine is exactly the same. I recently started therapy as well, and something that my counselor continues to repeat to me is, what would it look like if you held the same space for yourself as you do for others? Whoa. And my answer week after week has been, I don't know. But I am allowing myself this year not only to heal, but to speak kinder to myself and to allow the soft life and to step back and not look at the year and think about how I can be triumphant, because I think that has, first of all, the word triumphant can mean many different things, but I think in my mind it's constantly doing and it's achieving and conquering fears. But I think it's okay to allow myself to sit with myself and to correct that negative self-dialogue and to be there for myself as I'm there for others. That is also a worthy aspiration, and I think that if we allow ourselves to do that, then other Black women will see that, and especially younger Black women will see, like, you don't have to constantly be striving or fighting against something. Like, you are allowed to take space to say, I'm not okay, or I need healing in this way, or I need to step back and and kind of take a survey of myself and my life and not always be like trying to knock out goals. So I appreciate both of those transparent responses and the fact that it seems to be a collective movement. I really am excited about that.
Yeah, that's reassuring that
Shout
we
out to
all in the
therapy.
same boat, right? Go make an appointment.
Well, that was edifying. Cam and Alex, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. And thank you for joining us at home. We hope that you enjoyed it. Please tune back in Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Don't forget to Living Your Truth and follow us on social.
Almost give up, gotta crawl. Feels like too much. Pick back up again, back up again, back up again. Can't get scared to try. I get scared to fly. But the turbulence is better than getting left behind.